Gentlemen, and welcome to the next edition of the Entrepreneurs Collective Startup Pitch Competition. This is our monthly event hosted by myself, Michael Blakely, the founder of Entrepreneurs Collective, and we're really excited tonight because we have, firstly, some amazing judges on our panel. I have to say, our most esteemed panel today with some great entrepreneurial and investment minds on there. We have 6 super exciting startups who are going to be put through their paces by our judges. This will be followed by a networking afterwards, one of the bits which I really love, where we get you founders to connect with other founders and investors. Next slide, Daniel. But first and foremost, I'm just going to introduce you to the Entrepreneurs Collective, which is the company hosting the event tonight. So the motto of the Entrepreneurs Collective is founders helping founders. And I know a little bit about this because I myself am a founder too. Originally, I was a lawyer. I worked in a number of blue chip corporates, including some of the ones that you see up here, Tata, UK Competition Authority. And then I went a little bit rogue and I set up a dating app called Clicked. So this was 3.5 years ago. We're doing really well now. We're approaching our Series A. We have over 100,000 users. We're post-revenue. But this was not always the case. Moving from corporate life to building my own startup was really tough. The first year or two, I really struggled. Firstly, everyone thought I was nuts to quit law to build a dating app. Secondly, when I went through building my startup, I came across lots of issues. So things like the main struggles that a lot of you founders will recognize, such as getting bad referrals and end up, building parts of my app badly, struggling to find investment, fear of failure, not knowing who to talk to or to get advice from. And I went out there and tried to find events and community to really help me as a first-time entrepreneur. And I really struggled. I thought there was a lot of bad events out there in London where a lot of the time I was essentially being sold to and struggled to find good quality founders. But being entrepreneurial by nature, I decided if the community wasn't there for me, I would build my own. And that's where the Entrepreneurs Collective comes from. So next slide, Daniel. Yeah, founders helping is there are many ways we do this, but certainly one of them is our monthly pitch event, where we get some investors together with our founders investment. In terms of the format for tonight, we will be moving on to the pitching shortly after judging panel. The startups will get 5 minutes each. If you have a burning desire to ask some questions from the audience, please feel free to pop those into the chat. In terms of investors, as we go through, Daniel will be posting links to the founders, their LinkedIn profiles into the chat. So if anyone wants to follow any of these founders and indeed the judges, then please do so through the chat. You'll find their links there. In terms of the next step, we will look to take questions from the audience, and you will also be given an opportunity there to vote on the winners. But without further ado, let's introduce you to the startup panel. So I will introduce you first to Michael Tobin, OBE. The accolades that Michael has received, too numerous to count, but including in his portfolio, is Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Decade, an OBE from Her Majesty for his services to digital technologies. He also ran 40 marathons in 40 days, raising £100,000 for the Princess Trust, among many other feats. But Michael, it would be great for you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey and your outlook on investment. That would be great.
Well, thank you, Michael. Yeah, I guess didn't go to university, sort of born and raised in the East End of London, went out to Africa, got petrol bombed and shot at, came back, lived in a squat in Stockwell for a few years, and did an apprenticeship in electronics engineering. So not the ideal start, but managed to get a few lucky breaks. And I think you need a lot of luck in these, and in most times actually, especially now. And hard work helps you get a little bit more luck than the average. So managed to get into a number of technology stocks, in particular into data centers, build a business from 6 million back in 2002 until we sold it for 2.6 billion in 2014. And now I sit on multiple boards around the world, all technology oriented, a couple of listed ones, including Audio Boom, which is the largest podcast platform in Europe, and a number of other data center operators around the world, and a few other bits and pieces.
Splendid, Michael, and great to have you join us. And next up, we have Barbara Brunel Bruce. Barbara, serial entrepreneur, having accomplished great successes across a number of sectors, including back in the likes of Fabric nightclub, building a telecoms business, amongst others. But Barbara, we'd love to hear a few words from yourself, in your own words, about your journey.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Michael. Thank you, everyone, for turning up tonight. Entrepreneurs, investors, I think we've got lots in common. So I got the startup bug by investing in a telecoms company about 25 years ago. And like lots of investors, I think you get encouraged to invest when your friends invest as well. So about 6 of us invested in this telecoms reseller, and I ended up joining the company. And a couple of years later, we IPO'd it on NASDAQ. I just thought, oh, that's kind of a normal thing to do. Yes, that's what you do when you're in your 20s. So we did quite well with this telecoms company and realized there was a gap in the market where telecoms resellers had nowhere to put their huge switches. So we were renting space off Telecom Italia Mobile. So we built a data housing company for this telecoms company, which Michael Tobin's probably owned at some point. Probably swiped it up, all that hard work. Anyway, it got bought out quite nicely by a US ISP who quite liked those things at the time. So we had a pile of cash and we thought, oh, what are we going to do with it? And along came a business plan for a nightclub, and I just went, I've got no interest in a nightclub. I like a bit of risk, but no, not sure about this. So my advisor said, hey, you can actually make money with this if you buy the property. So we bought this big chunk of property right back in the early days of Clerkenwell. And we created Fabric nightclub, Smith & Smithfields, and a block of offices. So yeah, built out this nightclub, made it very low key, brought along lots of famous DJs, and probably quite a few that are dead right now, partying way too hard, and had a thoroughly great experience making this brand and the record label. And then we sold out of that quite nicely too. And I went and then did a fashion label, just because you have to beat yourself up with something. Fashion is really hard work. So whoever's in fashion, really take my hat off to you. Always help fashion founders. Worked on that for 6 years from New York and London, got it into 250 stores around the world, came back, sold it to a horrible PE company, but let's not go there. Not all PEs are horrible, by the way, but these guys are not very nice. Anyway, I was quite glad to get it off my hands. And fast forward now, I'm actually on the other side. So I help entrepreneurs raise money. So Bespoke Connections works raising for funds in family office space across Europe. So, but we do Series A as well. But founders, don't worry if you're seed. I'm always around to help. So looking forward to hearing from you.
Great stuff, Barbara, and a pleasure to have you there.
Thank you.
And last, on the panel, we have Dunstan Pedropilia, who's coming from the more on the investment side with a highly accomplished career in a number of big accountancies. Dunstan, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your path into the investment world, and also a little bit about more Automat Ventures, which you headed.
Thank you very much, Michael. Let me start actually by congratulating you and the team for such a successful network over this very difficult year. I know it's been tough, so well done for not only maintaining it, but increasing the numbers. Really well done. My story is somewhat the opposite, I guess, to Michael and Barbara. So I'm coming in not from the small side, but maybe from the big side. Whilst I started on a tech pathway with an engineering degree back at Cambridge, kind of the reality of the 80s was that most engineers at that time didn't get to make it into engineering. We all ended up in the city. So I joined and then rose through the various ranks of PwC to end up being a senior partner there. And I led some of the largest global relationships for the firm. In my later years, I managed parts of the firm in geographies as diverse as Tokyo, London, Zurich, many parts of the Middle East and the US. And across that time, I worked with a whole array of companies, from the very smallest startups through to like the global 100s. I had some fantastic professional challenges. So since we're sharing stories, just a little one on my side, probably my claim to fame would be that I was one of the 5 partners from PwC who walked into Lehman Brothers on that Sunday night as it collapsed to take on the bank, and was met by 400 investment bankers who didn't give me much time. So that was a pretty hairy relationship for the first 2 weeks as we try to bed down Lehman Brothers. So that all happened in the first part of my career, and then kind of about 5 or 6 years ago, I decided to change and go back to what I love. So my second career has really looked at starting afresh in venture capital and deep tech. And I started by working with a number of angel investors in London and angel networks, and then also with Octopus Ventures as a venture partner for several years. And one of my other aims was to kind of advise university spin-off ecosystems in the UK, partially because I had a bit of a bee in my bonnet that the US did a lot better, Harvard, Stanford and the likes, and I wanted the UK to kind of have that business knowledge that they had. So very proud last year that I managed to mentor the winning venture spin-off back at my old university, Cambridge, so almost full circle through that whole period. So now what I do is I work between London, Berlin and Cambridge as my 3 centres with a number of colleagues. And we work in three bits of venture capital: in investing, in advising, and also on the kind of transactional side, M&A mandates. And we're really focused very much on the investment side in deep tech and AI. So we believe that digital transformation for the enterprise has hit its stride, especially in the last 3 or 4 years, that Europe is behind the US and China, and therefore by bringing AI and deep tech now into that space, there's a good kind of stage for venture capital over the next decade or so. So that's me. I hope that gives you some insight, and I'm really looking forward to listening to all 6 of the ventures tonight and hearing about their great ideas.
Great stuff, Dunstan, and a pleasure to have you as well. So thanks to the whole panel for joining us, and I look forward to seeing who is going to be the ruthless angel, who's going to be the nice angel, or are they all going to be nice? We'll soon find out. Okay, but without further ado, we'll move on to the pitches. As mentioned previously, we will have 5 minutes to pitch, followed by 5 minutes of questions from the judges. But first and foremost, I believe we have lucidity up first.
Hi there. Let me just share my screen. Sec. Okay, so can you guys see my screen?
Certainly can. Can't
Brilliant.
see a presentation yet, or if that's coming up.
Is it coming up now?
Yes, it has.
Okay, brilliant. Cool. All right, so thank you very much for your time this evening, and thank you to Michael and Ben for organising. I'm going to talk to you about Lucidity, which is the world's #1 strategy platform. Now, there's a big problem in business, which is companies find strategy a challenge. And when we spoke to hundreds of businesses, over 65% of them cited lack of understanding or expertise as barriers to developing a strategic plan. And this leads on to larger problems. Over a third of managers don't know their own company strategy, and it's becoming too complicated to run a business well. Data stored all over the place, different managers using different systems, all while huge change is happening externally. Lucidity solves that problem. We're a software platform used by companies to understand and analyze their market, formulate and execute their strategy, align and focus to goals, and monitor progress against KPIs. Touching on that in a bit more detail, our platform has 4 parts. A business toolkit composed of academic and commercial tools enabling strategic thinking, a strategy management system for you to build your plans, a goal and task management system to execute those plans, and a dashboard and reporting suite to enable monitoring of progress, all in one platform. The opportunity here is huge. 1.9 billion was spent in 2019 on software around planning. Consulting took 31 billion, management consulting took 250 billion, and all 3 are projected to grow. Our focus is on English-speaking markets, looking at companies up to 500 employees going direct, while we have discussions with channel partners for the DACH region and South Africa. We map the landscape using this chart. The x-axis is difficult and incomplete through to easy and executable. The y-axis is affordable affordable through to expensive. Top left, we see books and training that are difficult but cheap. MBAs, difficult but expensive. Consultants, expensive but easy. We occupy the top right, affordable and easy. We have a fantastic team with a lot of experience. My co-founder, Tom, who's on the call today, has worked in technology for many years. He's won multiple awards and has grown a previous SaaS business to over 10 million. I've had 15 years in tech and product. I've lived for the last 3 in New York growing a SaaS business. And I have a master's in AI along with an MBA. Tom and I have worked together for over a decade, previously taking business into 14 different languages across 11 countries. And we're supported by a really strong team who are excellent in their own disciplines, and they've worked with us in the past. We also have an impressive advisory board composed of academics in this space and commercial leaders who assist us in both product and commercial decisions. In terms of numbers, we're looking to generate 15 million revenue in 2025 with an EBITDA of 9.9. Our current traction has generated over 600 leads, 186 partner leads, 6 partners are contracting with us, and 2.5 million of pipeline value. Partnerships are really key for us. It's a big part of our growth. We've got mature discussions going on with accountants, consultants, national banks, and channel partners for global reach. So this is all about putting Lucidity out to all of the clients that they work with. So there's a lot going on. We're seeking 500,000 for 10% of the business. Current investors include Anthony Seni, CEO of Centurium, and Duncan Bailey, the ex-MD of Lloyd's. The usage of the funds will be 50% product development, 10% working capital, and 40% marketing for wider reach. I'll end with a quick example. We spoke to one client and we asked for their current strategy, and they pulled out of a drawer this sort of crumpled bit of paper. After using Lucidity, they're now really happy, engaged, and executing their plans much more effectively than ever before. So in summary, we're developing our product rapidly. We're looking to disrupt the strategy marketplace, and we'd absolutely love you to join us. So thank you very much for listening, and I'm more than happy to take any questions.
Great stuff, Mike. Well, a very strong start, and with 20 seconds to spare, some great timing as well. Right. Okay. So why don't we kick off with you, Michael, on this one? I'm sure you've had your fair share of strategy and management meetings. What questions do you have for Mike?
Well, I wish you wouldn't have started with me because, as you know, Michael, I wrote this book called "Forget Strategy, Get Results." So it's not really the ideal product to try and pitch to me. But you know, I look at strategy as almost something. It's a little bit semantic, the title there, but it's more about having a vision and imparting the vision throughout your workforce. And I think the rate of change especially in a technology environment, it's less perhaps in other environments, but in technology, the rate of change necessitates the kind of throwing away of a strategy every 5 minutes and reinventing it and trying to not be perfect about everything, but actually do stuff to get along the road. So for me, it's a very difficult ask. However, that's not to say that there are not businesses out there that still adopt the strategic approach to life, and I can see this being a useful sort of collaborative tool for people to drive that on a corporate basis. So what's the typical size of business that would be taking this product from you? So
interestingly, kind of listening to your thoughts, I actually think we're much more aligned than perhaps my presentation has suggested. We're about reinventing strategy, which as a term is quite nebulous, it's quite old-fashioned, and we want it to be a living, breathing, evolving document. So our clients are utilizing the platform on a daily basis to change and adapt and align the whole team behind it to make sure that everyone is moving forward. I think largely it perhaps is semantics because we're in line with your view. In terms of the typical client, so there's quite a range. Our average client has about sort of 70 to 75 employees. There seems to be a tipping point somewhere between sort of 50 to 100 employees where businesses require something to give them a bit more focus and to get everyone on board with the same vision that they're ultimately aiming towards. But we also have, startups of a couple of employees through to businesses of a couple of hundred employees. So it's quite a range using the system.
I guess one other question: would you consider opening up certain areas of the system to customers who could help shape your business going forward?
Yes, we're SaaS, so every single month the product changes and adapts with new features and functionality, all as part of the platform. So we take customer input. We also work with the advisory board and external factors as well, feed into our roadmap. So the product is constantly changing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great stuff. Over to you, Barbara. Do you have a question for Mike?
Great. Mike, I really like your presentation. I love the name, love the branding. For me, how long does it take the customers for you to onboard them, and how sticky is it? Don't want them to move on to someone else.
Really good question. So we work with a series of partners, and when they're working with their clients in Lucidity, like a strategy consultant, they will be running some sort of workshop, like a half-a-day workshop. On average, it takes about, I'd say maybe about half an hour to an hour to build your first plan. The system will ask certain questions about your business, and it will generate a skeleton structure for you. So if you're a SaaS business looking to grow, then it will generate the bare bones of a plan to get you started within the system. In terms of stickiness, it depends on the area of the product. So the tool library generally is used every couple of months. That's the strategic thinking and analysis, through to the task and the goal management, which is used on a daily basis. We integrate with a number of systems like Xero, so we pull live data into dashboards, and obviously that stuff is used on a daily basis by clients.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Okay, great stuff. And over to you, Dunstan.
Your microphone's off, Dunstan.
You might be on mute here, Dunstan.
I often talk to myself. Hi, Mike.
Hi.
Great presentation, great strap line. I like the fact you put McKinsey in the easy bracket. I'm not sure I would have, but that's at the end. In terms of your products, so the way I understand it, this is a set of tools which you're providing to a SME environment for them to use. So it's not some kind of pathway to a strategy, it's just to help them along that that kind of direction. Is that right? And if that's the case, how do you develop the tools and how do you keep them alive and relevant?
So the system will suggest tools based on what you're trying to achieve and your industry. So it will pick from a library of tools. Of course, a client can override that and put whatever tools they want in from our tool library. Each tool comes with a video guide, a step-by-step process, and tons of examples. So we have thousands of different examples of vision statements or SWOT or whatever the different academic tools are in there, as well as commercial tools like how to segment your revenue, how to strategically reduce costs. So the system will suggest the tools in the order that they should be done to help a user develop their strategy. It ultimately comes down to if at the start they have a strategic plan that they're aware of, or they're starting from scratch and they don't know they have a strategy or they don't have a strategy.
And any feedback on any of the tools not working at the moment, or clients giving you some areas where you could work on?
What a great question. So some of the more academic tools, which are not in the common vocabulary of people, like Porter's 5 Forces, people required a bit more help with the onboarding to that. So we had to go back and adjust that. And now with our academic tools, we're much more proactive within the module to explain how this is relevant and what the outcome is within our videos and our guides. So that's a bit of feedback we had on the academic ones that we've got in place.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, well, splendid presentation, Mike, and some great questions from the judges, which were fielded very well. So a very solid start. So well done. We'll move on to the next presentation. Daniel, who do we have up next?
Eugenie.
Okay, so Susan Cabani from Eugenie, if you could share your presentation, that'd be brilliant. And whenever you're ready.
You can hear me and see my slides, just confirming?
Yeah, we're not quite full screen, so I don't know if you can press on the little green button. Would that make it full?
Yeah,
but it's fairly close enough if you want to continue with that.
Okay, great, thanks. So hi everyone, my name is Susan Cabani and I'm the founder and CEO of Eugenie. We are a community-focused software company making technology simple and manageable. So why is that important? In today's COVID world, COVID has screwed up a lot of things for different people. Teams are disparate and people are working remotely. There's no in-person events and everyone and everything is being forced to go online even more than before. For administrators and community leaders, especially small niche communities, it's frankly lonely, difficult, and challenging to maintain, manage, and grow their communities. Now, with the added challenge of putting everything online, these administrators require a lot of different tools and technologies to make it all work, which is both expensive with time and money. And with data privacy and security at the forefront of the mind of these community administrators and their members, the mainstream platforms are no longer the most attractive option. So this is where we come in. We are an organization that has been working for the last 3 years to learn and understand this niche and the pain of our administrators through market research and customer conversations. It's helped us build and iterate Eugenie to best serve them, particularly those community-led businesses of under 500 members. In the next 5 years, we aim to be the go-to trusted platform for these community leaders to grow, scale, and most importantly, manage and retain their communities online. So how do we do this? Well, we aim to have 3 tools, 2 of which we've already built. We have Eugenie Hubs, which is our web and app community platform. We have Eugenie App, which is our white label platform. And we are building Eugenie Data next year, which is our community insight tool. What we really aim to offer is a suite of community-focused products, which offer smaller businesses access to the right technology at a price they can afford, and also platforms that they can easily navigate. There's no question that the market opportunity here is huge. We're an online SaaS platform focusing on community and membership-based businesses. In the UK alone, our serviceable market is 446 million, with a global market of 6 billion. And these numbers also only reflect those organizations which are registered businesses and doesn't account for the millions of communities and small businesses that are currently leaving mainstream social platforms for a variety of different reasons, from control and privacy. These community owners and administrators are tired of being at the mercy of social algorithms and want something that's been built for them in mind. Our revenue model is also simple. We have 4 streams. We have membership and subscription revenue from our web and app platform. We have a revenue share with our clients. We have a white label functionality, and we also have an affiliate marketplace where we can match the right sponsors and products with our communities. With these 4 revenue streams, we have 4 diverse ways of making money, but more importantly, the means to help us grow as an organization. Our team is encompassing more than myself. We have a full team of experienced professionals that have the ability to build a business, but more importantly, understand the technical risks involved in building a SaaS platform. And finally, most importantly, we understand community, with me being at the heart of it. Yes, it can seem a very saturated and complex market. However, there are very few players targeting communities and businesses of under 500 people with the things that we're offering. Further, we're the only one who's offering a unique partnership revenue model, which is a very popular choice amongst our customer base. Over the past few years, we have been busy spending our investor money, building the right tech for our customers and finding product market fit. We are now ready to grow. So the next 5 years are going to be super exciting. We're planning on growing and scaling, becoming profitable, and most importantly, investing our time and resources back into our communities to keep them sticky and our platform to grow and scale. Our ask is simple. We are looking for the first 50K of a larger 250K round, which will go toward existing running costs, building a key feature that's being asked by all of our customers and clients, and brand and marketing. Because quite frankly, we've spent very little on marketing to date. Our customer base has grown organically through referrals and recommendations, whilst we've been focused on building on a platform that works. With all these things, we will be in a strong position to grow and scale our business and become that go-to small community platform. Again, we are Eugenie, a community-focused software company making technology simple and manageable. Thank you.
Great stuff, Suzanne. Thank you for that presentation. Community platforms. You know a bit about community, Barbara, having established a fairly active dance community in the heart of London. So over to you on this one.
Unmute myself, Dunstan.
There we go. Communication, always the most important part of community.
Well, very nice presentation and brand. Well done. I know Lisa, by the way. She's a great girl, Miss Jones. Well done for bringing her in. If I was presenting this to an investor, I think my hard bit, which I've had with businesses not like this, but similar to this, is how to explain it quickly and to not, so it's about getting that snapshot and the example down, so they're not going away going, what is it that they do? I haven't quite managed that. So that would be, you don't have to answer that now, but that would be my advice to you, is get that bit right. And the other thing is, I know that you have developers on side, but if you're going to build your app, you might want to think about a tech developer that is a debt provider as well, so that you've got some of the money already in, you're giving them business and they're letting you take that up in debt to pay off later. A couple of strategies there.
Great, thanks.
Okay, great stuff. Thanks for your insights, Barbara. Over to you, Dunstan.
Am I on? I am, yes. Hi, Suzanne. I guess I'm coming from the other direction, so I don't know community as much as Barbara and the others do. But just from a financial perspective, is this a model whereby you've got lots and lots of small clients giving you fees? And if so, what kind of numbers of clients and what geographies are you going to have to cover to get to a decent stage?
So we've actually built 4 different models in terms of the types of clients we can serve. Yes, we are focusing ourselves at small niche communities of under 500. So that's going to be lots of clients of that size from the 25 to 200 pound price point. However, there's 2 other things we have. We have a revenue share model, which a lot of our customers choose, and we get a percentage of their membership revenue because it's a partnership model. So even with these small communities, they're paying us the base subscription, but we also get a percentage of what they're earning. So, we're incentivized to help them grow from that perspective. We recently also launched the white label model, which is much more, it's a bigger price point. So for those brands and memberships that are ready to go straight to their own app, but not ready to spend the hundreds of thousands to build their own tech, we can white label Eugenie. And the average contract size for that is between 3 and 5 grand. And then finally, we've also got our Eugenie data that we're building next year, which is going to take the insights from the platform that we've already built, so the vehicle where the communities and memberships live, and then give that back to the administrators, which is going to be another revenue stream that will then retarget at our existing customer base.
Okay.
So yes.
Got you. Just a quick add-on. So if you've got all of those diverse channels and they're all quite small, does that mean you're going to need quite a big marketing team to get out there and do the hard work?
Yes. And that's what we haven't done so far. What we've been doing is refining the technology and the product. And so our next phase is growth, which is going to be looking at the marketing channels to get just the word out there that we're here.
Okay. Thank you.
Great stuff, Dunstan. Over to you, Michael.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, great presentation. I like the confidence. So a couple of things. What was the key feature you said that you wanted to develop that was being requested by everybody?
So payment integrations, essentially letting us handle their membership fees, selling anything on the product. And so if we can manage that for them, for one, we make their life easier and we become a better solution for them. But secondly, we can then collect directly our revenue share component because we would be taking a cut of what they're making. So it's a key feature both for our customers, but also for our revenue generation.
Do you need financial authority, financial regulatory approval for that? Because
no, we're not going to build our own fintech. We're going to be using Stripe or PayPal and integrate it into the platform. Okay,
good. And so who would you consider? And I can see lots of different spin-off kind of angles on this. There's the kind of the communities like people per hour that could be a kind of a local area. I need a locksmith type community, next door is another one, and then going up to sort of more sort of corporate communities where it's almost like an intranet back in the day. And so there's lots of different ways to see this. And I like the recurring revenue feature of it. I guess one of the things I was quite surprised about is how your cost is scaling over the years according to your projections, because typically what you'd want to be doing is, with a recurring revenue model, you'd ideally want to keep your cost base relatively fixed so that the flow through margins start to come through in later years. So where is that cost going in kind of 23, 24 that I saw on that slide?
Yeah, so we've built our tech on a very lean tech budget. We've kept our team, we scale it up and down. So we don't have, full-time tech people. Like our costs are not as high right now, reflective of what we built, because we keep scaling up and down for what we need. The idea is when we start bringing on, the thousands of communities and the customers, we are going to need to add more people to our tech team to be able to maintain the various parts of the platform. We've added the functionality of the white label, which needs more support as well. It's different than maintaining the main SaaS platform. We're actually going to be maintaining those white labels. And also when we bring on the Eugenie data, it's a different skill set for those people that are going to help us build that machine learning and essentially that insight piece. So as we actually expand our product range and bring on more customers, we're definitely going to need to expand the tech team. And secondly, also, we do need to bring on some more customer support representatives, because we still put customer service as one of our top things in being different than some of our competitors. So primarily, though, it is as we get more customers, our tech stack will grow and we'll need to maintain that with more developers.
Who do you see as your main competitor at the moment?
Disciple.
Right. All right.
The market is big enough for both of us, though. I don't think this is a winner takes all.
Are you so just one other, are you creating sort of packs that you can send out for people to create their own development programs with? So are you giving people sort of access to the code so that they can they can evolve this, or are you keeping that under your own control?
At the moment, we're keeping it under our control. We're not opening it up with APIs and such.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, great stuff. Well, great to see some great engagement from the judges and some brilliant advice as well. So thanks, guys. And up next, we have Ulox.
Hello, everyone. All right, so I'm trying to get my screen shared.
There we go.
Can everyone see my screen?
Brilliant. A branded background and a beautiful screen. Yeah, we are Perfect. Good to go.
Great. Thank you very much. My name is David, and I am one of the 3 co-founders of Ulox. And I am about to present to you the future of wireless charging as we see it today. We're a Germany and London-based company with an office in London and an office in Munich. So we live in a world where actually we've already seen that, where cables actually cease to exist. So we've seen that with the internet many, many years ago. Headphones have gone wireless also a long time ago. And the next big thing that comes up and that is happening as we speak is all the mobile devices, they also get wireless when it comes to charging. And this is something that Apple has probably also foreseen in one of the next models, where they will release an iPhone that will not have any jacks or ports anymore, because you don't need them, because everything can be handled wirelessly. And when you look into the market, then this is actually a very good time to build an infrastructure for wireless charging, because as of now, there's almost 50% of the handsets in the market that are wirelessly chargeable. And our forecast is that by the end of 2022, there will be probably up to 70 or 80% of all the handheld devices wirelessly chargeable. And don't only think about smartphones, that's the best use case, but it's also wearables, it's headphones that can also be charged wirelessly, and also laptop computers. I think this is going to be one of the next steps too. And this is where actually Ulox comes into play. So we do offer wireless charging in hospitality venues. And for the guests, it's free wireless charging in exchange for one simple interaction. And it could be something like star rating, for example, how you would rate a service today. It could be an interaction that you that you can see an ad about an offer of the day, like here with our client Subway, or just a very simple yes/no questions, like were you satisfied with the experience today? And this is what you get in exchange for wireless charging. And for our customers, it is they get an instant feedback from their guests. They get to know their guests better. What we also do is we provide them with additional information, benchmark information from the industry. So they see, for example, if you are Subway, you can see from other of our customers what their average customer rating would be. And of course, you can also set automated email alerts if a special rating drops under a certain value. This is where we are at the moment. We have partnered with a couple of clients of ours. There is a German coffee house chain, Shibo. We have started with over 200 charging spots with them now. Subway is a customer that we're doing at the moment that looks quite promising. We have partnered with Ruby Hotels. It's a German hotel chain as well, and also with WeWork, where we have deployed 600 charging spots all over London in several WeWork offices, as well as in Paris and in New York City. And if you look at the total size, and if you only look into Europe, you can see that there's around 30 million possibilities in our 3 verticals, which are co-working spaces, hotels, cafes, and restaurants, to deploy our charging spots at. And if you look at the total number, that adds up to around about 1.8 billion in the market. Whereas our sweet spot we see in around 1.3 million charging spots that can be operated by us. And these are just some examples of those clients that we talk to and that we are in touch with. We are a founding team of 3 guys. Me, this is David in the center. Ralph is our CTO, and he developed our product. He's in charge of sourcing quality as well. Pascal, he's in charge of business development and also looks after sales in Germany, where I more focus on the UK and North America. And we have known each other for many years, and we've worked together in different companies. So quite some work experience also there. And if you are interested in the future of wireless charging, I would love you to join us on this journey. We are currently raising our seed round, and we still look for investors. Get in touch with me, david@ulox.com, and I'm happy to take more questions. Thank you.
Great stuff, David. I'd be very interested if you could install one of those wireless charging ports at my local pub. I'm forever running out of batteries there. So
absolutely.
I'll give you their details. Okay, so Dunstan, an interesting tech play here. One certainly with some great traction. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, David. Great to hear you already coming the other way from Europe into London. So can I ask, whereabouts in Germany are you based?
In Munich.
Munich, okay. David, a very basic question. Is this sophisticated tech? Is it a smart charger of some kind, or is it a basic wireless charging that you're putting into furniture and various other places?
It is a basic charger. It is the latest standard. It complies with everything that is needed as the latest standard in the market, and it adds the interaction possibility with your customer. This is our
and that seems to be the differentiator, right? So when you say it's sophisticated, so it can differentiate between a fast charger for an iPhone 12 and a slow charge for something else. It can do all that, right? I presume.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Our chargers at the moment, they charge at 15 watts, which is the highest standards in the industry, I would say.
Okay. So the next question is this going to be seen by a potential buyer as a piece of hardware, or is it more the data that's really the driver or the recurring relationship here?
So for most of our clients, it's more the data. So they want to get their guests better. They want to get to know them better, and they want to understand what is important for them. And most of the times, especially when we talk to hotels, they say like, okay, we sent our clients an email one day after they left, and like the rate of returns of these emails, where really the survey forms are filled in, is very low, because customers just don't care about this anymore once they leave it. But when you have to answer the question to activate something, to get something in return, which is like free wireless charging, then you're more likely to answer that short, simple question.
Okay. And can I ask, what's the results been in the locations you've tested it at? What's the kind of customer satisfaction or involvement?
Yeah, so we installed, one of our first clients that we did was a hotel in Munich, and we installed chargers in their bar. And actually what we learned from this experience is, first of all, their revenue per bar stool went up more than 50% during the time, because people tend to stay longer. And also they learned something about their customers. For example, they weren't aware of that the cleanliness of the place was not to what a customer in this segment would expect. So that is something that they learned, and then they improved on this.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, very interesting. Over to you, Barbara.
Okay. Just want to know if phone batteries are increasing in power and duration, and charging is also going to be increasing. How do you see that shift?
Well,
people like me will still need to charge my phone, by the way.
Yeah. Moment,
and Michael.
There's two ways we look at this. So first of all, with the launch of 5G, all the mobile devices will consume much more energy. So that's a fact. Although the battery capacity might grow, also the consumption goes up. And the second thing, what I mentioned also earlier, is we also believe that wireless charging of laptop computers is the next big thing in that industry that will come up next. And this is why we partner with co-working spaces and offices already now, because we want to get a foot in the door there. So we think that we, over the time, can compensate with this, and you will need to charge at some point. There's no way you can run with a battery all day long and not charging your phone. This is almost impossible.
And one other question, how much does it cost to install it? And
so we have a subscription model with our clients. It's as simple as a ballpark figure. It's £5 per charging spot per month on a 24-month contract. And our margin still is around 70%, even including the installation, including maintenance and everything.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great stuff. Over to you, Michael.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you so much for the presentation. A couple of quick questions, David. So first of all, does it go into any furniture? I mean, how physically, how does it install? What's the,
I'm just going to go back on the overview screen. You can see that there is a sticker on the table surface, and actually it's mounted subsurface, so it doesn't touch the surface at all.
So it's actually underneath the table?
Yes, exactly.
And it has enough strength to get through?
Yeah, it charges through the material, yes.
That's impressive. And is that considered standard? I mean, I have charging platforms at home. I mean, is that exactly the same sort of technology?
It is exactly the same technology. There's an industry standard called QI, and this is supported by all the major smartphone producers, and everything that is charged wirelessly more or less is this QI inductive charging.
Okay, so I guess each of the bits of furniture that this is on needs to be then plugged in.
Correct, yes. So if you have a situation where you're in a restaurant where you move tables around, would be a more difficult task. We have a solution also where we work with a power bank with a strong battery that you can attach to the table. But from our experience, it's more in the operations. So people that run that restaurant, they have to recharge the tables too. And sometimes they don't do that. And that leads to unsatisfied customers. So that is our experience that we have. So it's better to find a place by the wall where you can plug it in, yes.
Yeah, so I guess that's a couple of things at the moment, right? We're seeing restaurants being told every 5 minutes to shift and move their furniture around for COVID reasons. And once it's 2 meters, then it's 1 meter, then you've got screens, no screens. And I think that's at this particular moment, it's a very difficult sell to sort of get them to have a physical power base at everyone. And then I guess the other thing is there's an opportunity as well, which goes around the COVID story, which is many places you go in now, and I'm speaking restaurants and bars, have converted their menu, which you see in the picture there, to phone based. So they have a QR code. And I wonder whether one of your sort of sales pitches is, instead of just having the wireless charging sticker, you'd have the QR code as well with it, so that essentially you put your phone on, there's your login details, and then your phone goes down and you've got the menu based on it.
Correct. So we work even a bit more advanced than QR codes, because QR codes and stickers, they can be removed. We use NFC technology to pop up a message from your phone directly. So that is a bit more advanced, but you're right. We also talk to a company that provides all the back end for ordering systems in restaurants, for example. So we try to partner with them as well, because you're right. Actually, in the best case scenario, you place your phone on the table, it pops up the menu, you can order right from the table and it will be brought to your table. So that's the best case scenario.
And so what I'm thinking there is there's a possibility of an enhanced revenue stream, because you're capturing not only the email and kind of user satisfaction of somebody that goes in there, but you're also then potentially capturing his consumption profile, right? So you know exactly what he prefers to eat, what wine he drinks or she drinks, and how much their average spend is. So you can start then to have the same value in a restaurant as if you had a members club. And you could then almost have someone walk in the door with facial recognition and say exactly what he's going to buy, or what his preferred drink is, and say, I've got a special on that this week, or whatever. So there's some added kind of CRM upside around that. I agree with you. Since the history of time, if you go back 10, 15 years, we all had these Nokia 6310s, which basically lasted a week. And the most sophisticated thing you could do on them was WAP, right? And now, of course, we do everything on our phones, and yet you have to charge them 3 times a day. So, and that's using low-powered technology chips, like the ARM chips and things. So, of course, the more we do with our phones, the more consumption we drive in terms of battery power. So I think this is a very interesting play, and I wonder whether there's also an angle going into once we get back to some semblance of normal, airports, train stations, because very often they're places where people sit and do nothing for a period of time. And I've seen mobile charging stations on tables in the lounges at Heathrow, for example. And if they, and very often they get damaged because someone trips over the cable or whatever. So if they're put on a table, perhaps that would be more efficient.
Yeah, this is a very good point, actually.
All right, guys. Some great comments, but I'm going to have to wrap you up there. We're over our 5 minutes, but well done, David. Great presentation and some brilliant questions and comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. And up next, who do we have? New and Eisling.
Hi, can you guys see my screen?
We can see you at the moment.
Okay.
And we can see a screen coming up. It's white at the
and that presentation is okay.
Ah, there we go. Yes, beautiful.
Great.
Your 5 minutes starts now.
Great. I'm Aisling. I'm the founder and CEO of New, the social network to share and swap your wardrobe. I'd like you to meet Alex. Alex has a lot of clothes, but most of them sit just unused in her wardrobe. I guess what's the harm in that? Well, if Alex does this and her friends do it and their friends do it and their friends do it, that's just too much clothes. It's £30 billion worth of unused clothes in the UK, and that is just the UK. It's such a waste. Today we're buying new trends quicker, wearing them less and disposing of more. So it's time for Alex to break up with fast fashion. Enter New, the social networking app to share your clothes and reduce your impact. It's an open relationship with your wardrobe, and the rules are simple. All members pay a monthly subscription fee of £7.99 and share their own pieces in our collective wardrobe. Borrow the pieces you want just for a fling, lend the pieces you love and want to keep, and swap those pieces that it's time to consciously uncouple from, because we all know it's sometimes for the best. So as a renewer, Alex uploads her much loved but underused pieces of clothing on New, and she can borrow and lend either short term or permanently swap. So to permanently swap, she's given either a gold or a silver token for each item that's uploaded, and she can use that token to take a piece for herself. None of that frustrating stuff where you need to find someone to directly swap with. Members can meet up in person or use parcel motel, UPS, or bike delivery for postage. So Alex trades her individual wardrobe for a collective closet. She trades shopping for swapping, and she trades climate anxiety for a new sustainable fashion experience. In short, she can buy less and wear more. So if you're wondering if clothes sharing is the next big trend in fashion, we say yes, absolutely. New is front and center of the secondhand clothing market, expect to grow to 1.5 times that of fast fashion by 2028. And we see the biggest opportunity in the mass market adoption of previously totally quick fast fashion buyers like Alex, who are now looking for a more affordable way to get pre-loved fashion. And there are lots more people like Alex, approximately 9.4 million people like Alex, aged 18 to 35 across the UK and Ireland, where New is now, and 126 million when expanding across Europe and America. This demographic genuinely care about sustainability, but they overconsume fashion in a completely unsustainable way because they love fashion and they want to look good. New is unique within our market. We focus purely on sharing and swapping rather than rental, which can have a high price point between £30 and £200 per rental, or resale, where you're constantly buying per piece. Instead, new members pay a fixed accessible subscription to use the platform. And we intend to scale rapidly to new locations because New has no physical infrastructure and can grow autonomously through our member base. So to date, we've launched the app publicly on iOS and Android and generated 7K in revenue. There's 5,000 registered users, 300 of who have paid, and we have had over 1,200 completed shares on the platform. We've also partnered with UPS and Parcel Motel for logistics and Superhog for insurance of items on the platform. We've developed an environmental impact calculator with the London Waste and Recycling Board to track our carbon waste and water offset per share. We're also working on B2B partnerships and exploring additional revenue streams. And New is led by a great team. I'm Aisling, CEO with a background in media and sustainable fashion. Paddy is New's CTO, a full stack developer having previously led tech teams at both HubSpot and Zalando. Roisin is our COO with a background in fashion merchandising and commercial management. And Alex is our communications manager and social media extraordinaire, building the new brand and community. We are raising a 1 million seed round, which will close in March of 2021, with Bethnal Green Ventures already committed to this round. This funding will be used to grow the new team and begin scaling our network outside of the UK and Ireland. To date, we've raised almost 400k and are backed by Sustainable Ventures, Bethnal Green Ventures, the London Fashion Fund, and Angels. This is a model that works at scale and it's expected to become profitable in 4 years' time, with the aim of reaching 135 million in annual recurring revenue from 2024 onwards. Help us to build the social network to share and swap your clothes, and get ready for something new. Thank you.
Great stuff, Aisling. And I'm going to have to admit something here as well. I've actually participated today myself in recycling some fashion. Yeah, thank you. So believe it or not, my pocket scarf is actually, there we go, my scarf. So I'm making sure that we don't throw it out. So a big fan of what you're doing.
Thanks.
Over to you, Barbara. What do you have, Aisling? Oh, you might be on mute, Barbara.
Right. So I love the impact focus. I think this would be really interesting to partner with major retailers and perhaps charity. You know, there's charity shops have amazing fashion in them. They could have their own stylists that could be partnering with you. If you can measure something like carbon footprint would be wonderful. My only thing I don't like about this, and this is very easy to fix, is your bios. For an old-fashioned investor like me, I would just like to see you guys really take that slide really seriously and rewrite it as
okay,
you know.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Everything else, well done for getting Bethnal Green Ventures. I love them. Everything else is leading to a very scalable model. If you can demo this and it works for the American market, you can white label it and scale it. So I'm really happy to talk to you about it and help out if I can.
Great, that would be brilliant. We also did a trial with the Dublin Simon community in Ireland, where they essentially did a partnership with us where they gave us stock to initially seed the platform, especially to create more diverse supply, which is often difficult in fashion in general, but really important, we feel, to have diversity of sizes so everyone is included in new sustainability models, and that's worked really well. So we're looking at other partnerships across the UK to try and build that out and help us to feed into new locations to really make the platform very attractive a lot quicker as we scale out.
There's masses of fashion out there, and people want this to make it work. Gucci sort of downsizing their product offering now. Everyone's trying to do less and make it more circular economy. Anyway, over to you, chaps.
Thank you.
Okay, great stuff, and that's what we'd like to see. Connections being made. So I look forward to hearing how you guys get on. So over to you, Michael. Do you have a question for Aisling?
Yeah, thank you. Great presentation. I must admit, it feels very laudable, but also quite alien to me, because I hoard clothes. I'm completely the opposite. I've got over 100 pairs of shoes, and I don't think I've worn all of them. My wife doesn't even buy a pair of shoes that she's just tried on. She wants a new one off the shelf. So I think if this was a kind of sell rather than loan, I kind of get it. But to loan my clothes out to someone else who I don't really know and then wear them again, I feel quite odd about that.
Yeah, so there's two sections of the platform. One was actually a pivot that we brought in during COVID, and this is the permanent swapping of pieces. So the borrowing generally works really well in the likes of university spaces and for people kind of going to weddings. Definitely Gen Z have really fueled that for us. And permanent swapping has really worked well for our members kind of up to 35, between 24 34 and 35, as well as the younger users, although they feel the borrowing more. And this is because the pieces that they're ready to part with, they're giving away permanently, and then they're able to take a piece off the platform for themselves. So they're getting that kind of instant gratification that they would when they shop, but doing that in a more sustainable way.
So this is a bartering system, right? So essentially, so whatever you put in, you get a credit, and you can take something for that credit. So just replacing cash with a token system in some way. What would stop eBay doing that, or Amazon? Because like at the moment, you know, when you go on and try and buy one of my books, you can get all these options of like buying a used one for nothing, which is great, and it's probably worth that. But the point is, people are already doing that for other products, not necessarily clothes, but they're doing it for other products. What's to stop a massive platform like Amazon or eBay just giving people credits for doing that?
So a lot of what we would look at is the way that they've built the habits of their members. That's very much centered in the monetization of the pieces that they have. Whereas New is really taking that monetization away from the pieces of clothing and building a very loyal community around it. We actually think it would be good for us to look at exit strategies into larger corporations that would like to start building this into the model, having really deep insights into how user behavior actually evolves around this. What we feel would be very difficult to ones who have already built their business on a very specific habit that involves two sides of the marketplace is that New all members play both sides of the marketplace. And so on a lot of big sites like eBay, you have buyers and sellers, and those can often tend to be very different kinds of members of that platform, not generally people who both buy and sell all the time. Whereas with New, you have to be a contributor in order to take a piece off the platform. And that to us has been a really interesting habit to form. So we see a lot of the value in our business is actually understanding that and potentially being able to exit to a company who wants to not do this from the ground up, which would take years, and over time they're trying to distinguish between their own old model versus their new model and integrate those two together, whereas we've really built this as our brand from the ground up. One
last question, and then Mike's going to tell me off otherwise.
So a quick one.
Would you see then, therefore, somebody trying to sidestep that rule and say, just as we have now, you know, I'll pay for green energy, right? I don't care where it comes from, but I'm going to pay a premium for it because, you know, that's okay. So would someone then say, well, I haven't got anything to donate into it, so I'm going to buy a credit?
They can't actually do that. So we've just very firmly built our model around this, because I guess as a belief, as a company, we believe that overconsumption needs to change as a habit. And so if you're consuming more pieces, do take consideration of the pieces that are also going to leave your wardrobe. So that is your currency on the platform. And this could evolve later down the line, but we found that the platform supply is built by the way people contribute to it. And that allows us to always know that supply comes in and out at an equal rate.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael.
Okay, great stuff. And over to you, Dunstan.
Hi, Aisling. Great presentation. I think, as you said, you're right at the right time and a good disruptor for the current model. Maybe I didn't quite understand something here, but when someone puts a piece of clothing into the platform, is there some form of valuation of it? Just to dissuade bad behavior of people putting natty clothes in or dirty clothes in. How do you value a good piece of garment versus a bad piece of garment? So that was one question. And the second one was just in terms of competition and defensibility. You haven't mentioned Vinted here, right? And there are a lot of resale platforms out there that do this.
Yeah.
And their prices, I mean, even Thrift Plus, you now can get dresses for £5 or £10. So their prices are really coming down at quite a pace. Is that a threat, an issue?
So to answer your first question, yes, we have an approval process. So each item that's uploaded to the platform is approved first for the standard and quality of that piece. And the person agrees to our terms and conditions that say that they have described as the piece actually is, and they've been truthful in that process. This can be automated in the long term. Generally, our items are tiered. High street is silver and mid-market and above brands are gold. And that kind of gives us a level and a fair playing field. To be honest, our members generally share and swap high street pieces because those are the brands that they love and what they're used to buying. And this can be automated in the long term. So automation in terms of the approval process becoming easier to do. We use AWS and they have some AI tools to be able to do this, and also vetting members so that they become trusted over time. And then their pieces can automatically go up and then that can be policed on a more communal level. sometimes with the new team, but we'd look to make that as automated as possible. And then in terms of competition, the likes of Depop and Vinted, we see that all the time. But to us, we find them as more of a complementary model. We have a lot of members who use both of those platforms. What happens with reselling from a user perspective of people who are actually trying to get their clothes out of their wardrobe is that for high street items, which can generally stop price range above about £120, it's very objective what you're pricing these as. And when you've bought something from a high street brand, it's very difficult to then resell it unless you sell it off for really cheap. So the incentive for that person is that they need to wait for quite a long time for that piece to actually be sold before they get their own gratification of getting a piece that they want, which is what they generally do in terms of spending the money that they have. So especially for the borrowing side of the platform, that gives members an outlet to be able to lend out the piece that they actually love, but they're not ready to resell. And those potentially higher value items are the ones that get resold.
Right, actually, I'm going to have to get you to wrap things up. We're over time now.
Thanks, Dunstan.
Thank you, actually.
Okay, perfect, guys. Okay, great stuff. Lovely presentation and some great questions from the judges. And you should have Aislinn's LinkedIn profile popping up in the chat. So if any of you guys want to speak to her or follow her, please do through there. Next up, we've got the Honestly Good Smoothie Company and Vikesh. Where are you, Vikesh?
Hello, Michael. Hi, guys. Just bear me a sec. I'm just having a bit of trouble sharing my screen. I can't seem to find the options. Just disappeared. So, oh yeah, there we are. Can everyone see my screen? Okay.
Looks good. Not quite full screen, but if we can go full screen, that would be perfect.
I think that should be full screen now. So, oops. So, hi everyone. My name is Vikesh. I'm the founder of the Honestly Good Smoothie Company, and I'd like to start by sharing a bit of background on how we came about. So, a few years back, I was suffering from chronic digestion trouble, and I initially turned to ready-to-drink smoothies bought from supermarkets to help increase my fiber intake. However, I quickly found they were full of pasteurized apple juice with very little fiber or nutritional value and powdered vitamins added back in. I felt like there was a real disconnect between the story being told on front of pack and the reality in the ingredients label on back of pack. It just didn't really feel that honest to me or innocent. And with that, I decided to hand in my notice, and the Honestly Good Smoothie Company was born. So our initial research found that there were two key reasons why consumers would choose to blend at home rather than to buy ready-to-drink smoothies. The first was transparency. So much like myself, people now more than ever want to know exactly what's in their food, where it's coming from, and why. And the second was personalization. So with this increasing abundance of nutrition information now widely available online, it feels like everyone can be their own nutritionist, self-prescribing ginger, turmeric, or funky seaweed. But in reality, it's difficult to incorporate these ingredients into a regular lifestyle, and home blending does provide a viable opportunity. However, it creates its own set of problems, and these include a lack of preparation time, not knowing which ingredients mix well with which, and ending up with a pile of waste at the end of the week. So this is where we come in. We deliver all organic, pre-portioned smoothie ingredients right to your door via flexible subscription. We serve a seasonal weekly menu developed by our chefs and nutritionists, and use chunky chopped, flash frozen ingredients, which lock in nutritional value, avoid waste, and so you can see exactly what you're blending. How it works, you simply head over to our website, choose from green, fruity, veggie, or variety, and then customize your subscription according to your schedule. Prices start from just $3.38 per smoothie, and each smoothie makes a full 500 ml portion. Once you finish blending, you can snap the QR code on back of pack and like, dislike, or favorite recipes. And this allows customers to tailor future boxes according to preferences and allows an opportunity for really valuable data capture for us. Of course, none of this is possible without the team, so let me introduce you. Blake is our head of MPD. His background is heading up kitchens for renowned restaurants in London and Melbourne. Alicia brings over 10 years experience building strong brand consumer relations through content. Milesh and I go back to uni days, and he spent the last 7 years in asset management. More recently, has decided to hand in his notice to come chop fruit and veg as operations director. And there's me on the end with a background in recruitment and HR. Our investors have also been instrumental in our progress to date. So Dylan brings significant operating experience and has a portfolio of health and wellness startups. Ben brings experience in digital acquisition, scaling campaigns to 8-figure advertising budgets. And Alidad has been helping connect us in the startup community and with product development and growth marketing as well. To date, we've sold over 60,000 smoothie kits, and we see 76% of customers reorder. Customers spend on average £215 with us, and we've got 300 active paying subscribers, generating us 18K in monthly recurring revenue. We've now built a small but loyal community around our brand and product, and are looking to grow. Initially, we'll be looking to double down on what's worked for us so far: affiliates, partnerships, and content-based CRM activities. From early next year, we'll be supplementing these with paid acquisition campaigns based on learnings from recent tests. As a business, we have a bold vision for the future, and it looks a little like this: low GI, plant-powered products for everyone, 100% reusable packaging that's free to return, a zero-waste carbon-neutral production process with 100% transparency from barn to blender, and data-driven, hyper-personalized smoothie plans. So far, we focused on building the team, tech, product, and infrastructure. We're now looking to raise our next round of 500K, which is EIS eligible, to focus on accelerating growth, deliver on 1 million in annual recurring revenue by the end of next year, introduce reusable packaging and further personalization for our customers based on nutrition goals, and grow the team. So just to summarize, we're here to disrupt the £11 billion online grocery market. We have a data-driven approach, and we're committed to delivering an honestly good vision. Thanks very much, and happy to answer your questions.
Okay, great stuff. Great presentation, Vikesh. Honestly, good stuff. So let's head over to Michael. Why don't you kick us off with this one?
Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Vikesh. I love the innocent giant to innocent there. Listen, this is Graze for smoothies, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And your website looks very similar to theirs. The style of recurring revenue and committed contracted staff, and you're learning from that as well. Your $500,000 raise, what valuation are you looking at for that?
2.3 pre-money.
2.3. Okay. Your packaging, you're saying there's a return thing on that. Can't you just make it throw it in the compostable?
So the packaging is a cardboard box, which is compostable, lined in sheep's wool, which is also compostable. And our customers, so we've got about 25% of customers that are collecting those woolen liners and sending them back to us by carbon neutral delivery to be cleaned and reused. The rest will either recycle or compost. And then the actual smoothie ingredients themselves are packed in a kind of monostructure LDP, which is recyclable in some boroughs, but we also have a recycling scheme for that. So alongside those liners that you send back, if it's not recyclable in your local area, then you can just pop them in the same bag, send them back to us. And we have, and we kind of work with another recycling plant where they're recycled to go off and be reused in the construction industry.
Really
so we found, I guess, sorry, on your point on compostable. So I guess we found that because the product is frozen, we've not been able to find a material that is food safe and is compostable as well. That is kind of freezer safe, if that makes sense. So a lot of the plant-based plastics at the moment, they have cellulose in, and those will kind of become rigid and then crack in the freezer. So yeah, I guess hence why I guess we've launched a recycling scheme.
So I think there's a couple of things there. That the Tetra Pak concept is one of them that might work better. But look, I really like this. And you said £215 is your typical revenue per customer. Is that an annual revenue?
So 215 over lifetime. So that's kind of based on forecasting lifetime value on cohorts. So on average, customers spend £60 a month. So that equates to around 17 smoothies a month. And yeah, so I guess you're looking at around 7 boxes. So average order value is just over £30. So on average, customers stay with us for 7 boxes.
Okay. And what's your retention rate after 5-6 months? Do you find, because I know a lot of people on Grays take holidays, and they just get fed up of receiving the boxes after a certain while, so they just take a holiday of 3 to 5 months, and maybe they'll come back to them, maybe not later. Do you find that, or do you feel people are pretty consistent on this?
So it is mixed. So about 76% of customers stay on box to box 2, about 35% stay on 5 boxes plus. The average is 7 boxes, but it's actually quite polarized. So you've got that fairly steep drop off, I guess, in the first like 4 boxes, but then those that make it to box 5, they've already had 100 smoothies or so from us, and they're pretty committed, and they'll kind of stay on for significant periods of time. So we have customers that are 40, 50 boxes in and been through hundreds of smoothies. So I guess in terms of reactivating churned subscribers, around 20% of churned subscribers we're reactivating at the moment. That's kind of without proactive like CRMs actually picking up the phone and I guess encouraging like signups, I guess just because of the size of the team at the moment. And there's also a lot more we can do in terms of kind of automations. So in terms of email automations.
Last question then. So
Michael, I'm going to have to cut you off there. We're 4 minutes in of our 5-minute allocation, so I'm going to let one of the other judges get in on this. So over to you, Barbara.
I'm not on mute. Fantastic. I really like this as well. You're totally in the right place at the right time. Businesses like these are selling like hotcakes at the moment. So keep building it. This is all about execution and getting it right. So get yourself as a white label referral marketing type of software that will really help. And considering 76% of your clients reorder, a loyalty program would be great. You've probably thought of these things, an app, all of these things. One thing I didn't quite get was, I know you called Honestly Good Smoothies because we deserve honest food. I don't get that, because I think because it represents healing food for the good of the body, there's something more. I feel like it wants a bit more substance to just because we deserve honest food. For me, that sounds like honest burger. So I'm already thinking somewhere else into fast food. This is actually, I quite like that strap line to be, different. Anyway, I love it, and well done.
Thanks very much. Yeah. We'll definitely give that some thought as well. So yeah, thanks.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you, Barbara. Over to you, Dunstan.
Hi, Vikesh. Great presentation. This is, again, for me, a brilliant concept. I have 2 blenders, which I've probably used twice in 3 years. So if someone can deliver this stuff, it'd be great. I like the website. That's why I had a quick look on that. That looks good. Your deck is brilliant. So all of those tick the boxes, and you seem to have a deep team and a broad team. So I read all that. Can I give you my conclusion? You kind of presented a 12-cylinder 800 bhp motor, and now look at the financials, and you're only generating 2 million of EBITDA in 5 years' time. So that kind of totally got me. Yep. So is that because of your ambition, or is that because the market doesn't let you get much bigger than that? And kind of, just ideas here. So piggybacking off the current box services like HelloFresh, Ocado, Gusto, can't you add these to their platforms? On HelloFresh, for example, you can order your meals, and you've got a whole bunch of add-ons like wine, whatever else. Can you not do partnerships with those? So the scale of the business looked a lot disconnected to what you were building in the deck.
Sure, I appreciate your feedback. So I guess firstly, like those financials in the deck, they're based on I guess the business model as it stands today. So predominantly ready to blend smoothies direct to consumer and in the UK. And I think that in those kind of, I guess in that box, we can build a 10 million revenue business. That breaks down to 15,000 active subscribers. I think that there are several routes to market. So we're kind of already exploring kind of distributing into like niche retail to kind of help build brand awareness, and also kind of partnering with kind of gyms and kind of fitness studios. I think there's a big opportunity to kind of build the direct-to-consumer model in other countries too. So we're speaking with a strategic investor / partner to launch in Scandinavia, which I think is probably our next move, kind of Sweden, And I think that there's a substantial business to be built there too. So I guess like in terms of those financials, we just wanted to be, I guess if I can use the word realistic, on where we see a direct line, like we can kind of see what we're doing now turn into that. But I think
well, that makes you unique, right? So most people would have put $1 billion at the end of 5 years. So, but I think, don't try and go too far the other way, because this to me looks like a decent business, but I can't quite see the go to market and how you build it to scale from what you're showing there. Yep.
Sure, that makes sense. Just to your second point as well, I think I think partnerships would be very is a kind of very valuable kind of route to market. So we know that Gusto, for example, has I guess made a lot of traction.
Yeah, Vikesh, I'm gonna stop you there. We're well into our question time, but great presentation, great questions, great comments. So we love to see this. Okay, so thank you very much for your presentation. And up next, and certainly last but certainly not least, we have Jamal and Drop24.
Hi everyone at EC. Can you see my screen? Can everyone see me?
I can see you. I can't see your screen yet. Okay, here we go. Yeah, screen is up.
Everyone.
Perfect. You're on full screen. We'll kick you off now. Go for it, Jamal. 5 minutes.
Hey everyone, we're Drop24, and we're always open. I know what you guys are probably thinking in the back of your minds right now about your Christmas shopping. So we are the first and only 24/7 hyperlocal retail infrastructure in the world, and we deliver retail on demand in a personalized way, 24 hours a day. So what that means is that a customer can go onto their phone and order whatever products, multiple products across multiple brands, and have them delivered within 1 hour, 24 hours a day. If the size doesn't fit or they need returns, we collect the returns, we reprocess, redistribute, and refund the customer generally within 2 hours of us collecting the return. So it's a really fast end-to-end process. Here's some of the categories that we cover. Here's some of the brands that we cover. Mr. Tobin, you seem like one of our customers, surely with 100 pairs of shoes. Absolutely, we'll get them to you in no time. So the difference between us and our solution, we operate all three parts of the last mile. We operate the technology, the warehousing, and the fleet. And our warehouses operate 24 hours a day and operate zero plastic. And our fleet is 100% carbon free. So it's all bicycle, electric scooters, and cargo bikes. We're most compared to Deliveroo or Amazon generally. The difference between us and Deliveroo is that when the restaurant is closed, Deliveroo is closed. With us, we operate the warehouses 24 hours a day, so we can get it delivered to you 24 hours a day. And with Amazon and the rest of the world, they generally outsource their fleet to DHL, UPS, or whoever it is, which generates a broken customer experience. We make money by generating a product margin, on each product that we sell. All product is provided to us on a consignment basis. We deal with the brands directly. Customers pay delivery fees, and brands can feature their products across our digital as well as our in-transit. So this is our initial uniforms, guys, by the way. So we're branded as a 24/7 department store, but our real business is big data. We understand who buys, what they buy, why they buy, when they buy, how often they buy, and where they deliver to from a local perspective. A lot of brands don't have access to that information, which is why a manufacturer has such a surplus. We do a lot of cool stuff, product launches. So if the new game or new phone is coming out, we can deliver it by 1 a.m. on launch day. And also if you order fancy champagne from us, we have the refrigeration in the warehouses, so we actually deliver chilled as well. Most of our traction has come from people already using last minute online delivery services. And we get really good traction in areas that sort of have low access to amenities are in the evening. Where we are right now, we're in London. We've got 2 warehouses operational with a third on its way in December. Each warehouse operates 400,000 of product on consignment at any one time. We've got 5,000 customers. Our average basket size at the moment is £45 and our average margin is 40%. We've got over 150 brands on the store, over 2,000 products, plenty in the pipeline. And we're actually applied for pharmacy licenses across our warehouse locations so we can deliver migraine tablets and asthma pumps at 3 in the morning when there's no other option. We are looking to expand to 10 cities in the UK and beyond by the end of next year, 50 cities the year after, and 100 cities worldwide by 2024, likely 2025. We want to be operating in real time 24 hours a day globally. This is just a pretty quote that one of our consultants actually said about us, so I just thought I'd throw it in there. And here's our team. So you've got myself, my background is real estate and infrastructure development. You've got Olivier Cotin, who was at Selfridges, Harrods, and Not on the High Street, UI and UX. Hamid's our finance guy, Goldman's guy. Chet, who's part of EC, is one of our non-executive advisors. Alan Stonewig, the ex-president of Timex and the ex-CEO of Fossil, is advising us from a product and scale perspective. Faria is our buyer. Rek has been doing merchandising and operations for Marks and Spencer's for 25 years, and Savannah's our head of logistics. So our current round is a bridge round between now and early next year. We're raising 250,000 at 2.5, of which 75 we have already found from 3 angels. And next year we'll be looking to raise our seed plus round, which will be $1 million based on 3 operational locations at a 10 million value. We will cover everywhere north side of the river from Shepherd's Bush to Stratford before January. So that's us, guys. Drop 24.
Okay. Great stuff, Jamal. Thanks for that. So over to you, Dunstan. Do you have some questions for Jamal?
Thanks, Jamal. Great presentation again. Very good presentations all evening tonight. Can I just ask you again a conceptual question here? Is your USP the fact that you're aggregating brands, or is it the fact that you can deliver within an hour?
It's a combination of things. So it's within the hour, 24 hours a day.
Right.
And it's also the fact that, so for example, with Deliveroo, if you order a dish from one restaurant, it's one restaurant at a time. With us, you can order a shirt, a lipstick, some groceries, whatever it is, and have them all delivered in one delivery within 1 hour, plastic-free and carbon-free.
Okay, so you can probably see where my question is coming from, because you've got the Amazon model, which gives you lots of brands, but takes a day to come to you. And you have the Zalando model, which aggregates lots of brands, but takes even longer to come to you. Yep, so I'm trying to see where exactly you're carving a niche between those two giants.
We fit the brands that will not go on Amazon. So the Ralph Lauren's, the Hugo Boss, and the Ted Bakers won't go on Amazon because it's really bad for their brand. So we represent that niche of the marketplace.
But then you might have a Zalando knocking on your door, right? Or the other way around. So
I mean, the options are endless.
Okay, got you. And in terms of what was I going to ask you? In terms of geographical ambition, it's pretty steep pretty quickly from what I can see, right? So you're going out to 100 locations globally by 2023. You've got 2 warehouses now. Is that doable?
It is, absolutely. So our technology can be duplicated within a period of a week. Our rider fleet there's no shortage of rider fleet workers at the moment, especially in this time. So all we really require in any city to open up is a 24-hour warehouse location, and we can pretty much launch a new location within 4 weeks.
Okay, and one final one. You have 4,000 customers at the moment, and you're generating 1,500. Have I got that wrong? It doesn't sound like a lot of revenue per customer.
So, I mean, we're doing probably so of the 5,000 customers we have, we're limited by geographic coverage at the moment. So our only operational warehouse is in East London. King's Cross is opening on the 24th of November because we dropped 24. And so a lot of the customers that we have, we can't physically cover as of where we are right now with one location. But we'll be able to cover the whole of London, and then the marketing budget that we spend will be on a further population as opposed to.
Gotcha. Okay.
Great stuff. Over to you, Barbara.
Okay. Hi, how are you? Yes, so love the presentation. Like your gig economy. What I would be doing is working out what those 80% of customers are reordering and just bringing that product offering right down. That's way too many products. And what else do I need to know? Where does the insurance element come in? Do you have to pay for insuring all that product, or do the brands pay for the insurance?
Brands insure the product up until it arrives with us. We will in houses, and our riders have transit insurance up until delivery.
I was trying to hear you.
Oh, sorry.
So, sorry, the brands or?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I was saying, sorry, could you ask me the question again?
So who covers insurance? Is it the brand or is it you and your warehouse?
So the brands cover the insurance up until delivery with us.
Yeah.
We're insured in our warehouses, and our riders have transit insurance up throughout the delivery.
Okay. So is that a major expense for you, covering that sort of insurance?
Not really.
No?
We are very reasonable. We have very, very cheap space in London at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great stuff, Barbara. Over to you, Michael. You may be on mute. I can't hear anything.
Apologies. Thank you for the presentation. Quick question. Do you know a company called Tupac? They do something similar, but what they do is they've automated the picking system. So I fully recognize that some of the higher brands don't want to be associated with the Amazons of the world and things like this. What I think where the value proposition comes is that they store the packaging for the brands, and they manage the kind of packaging and the returns of those items when they need to be returned. So do you get involved in any of that rebranding for the brands, or in terms of the dedicated packaging?
So if the brands provide us with, so we're quite strict. We penalize brands for delivering product to us with plastic shrink wrap around it. And we also, when we deliver, we only deliver if the brand can provide us with craft paper packaging, basically. So if they provide us with craft paper packaging, we will deliver the product as if it was delivered from a retail store as such, with a fancy craft paper bag.
Right, okay, got it. And so, Amazon Prime are delivering in my area, which is just south of the river from where you're delivering, unfortunately, so I can't access it today or in your second phase, but Amazon Prime are delivering in a couple of hours already on certain products from the supermarket range. And so what's to say they're not going to do that with more products?
Absolutely, whatever it is they can do. But if you need baby milk or nappies at 3 in the morning, Amazon Prime are not going to get it to you at a time that when you need it. Same with Cowpole, same with healthcare, same with whatever it may be. What we found is that we have a trend of beauty and food hall items during the day, and then the sex toys and condoms and alcohol all happen in the evening. And this is where sort of we can understand the trends of what's going on in real time. Generally, if you can wait until tomorrow, find a cheaper option or get it on Amazon, whatever it is. If you need it right now, we're your only option basically across London. And then, hopefully with the pharmacy onboarding, it will become a humanitarian, sustainable platform.
Well, there's certainly the the things like Push Doctor and the like, where you're already getting notification that your pharmacies are ready, your medication's ready, post an analysis online, and at the moment it doesn't arrange delivery for you. So have you been speaking to those guys and trying to get into that sort of model as well?
Absolutely. We've structured our onboarding process from a B2B perspective in a few different ways. At the moment, our main strategy is we're doing a residential black card campaign. So this is the QR, you just scan it and you get unlimited deliveries for a year, sustainable, made of paper. And it gives customers unlimited free deliveries for a year. After that, ultimately there's plenty of opportunities to take it further. We're doing a lot of stuff with the hotels at the moment. So we're speaking to Four Seasons and Marriott chain, because when they need balloons to dress a room, or they need petals or cards or whatever it is, they don't have it in the evening. So it's a really good B2B platform for us as an extension of concierge service.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Okay, great stuff, Jamal. And thank you to our judges for some brilliant questions. That is actually our last pitch of the night. I'm very happy to say that I think it's been an extremely strong set of pitches and some really good, tough questions, but also some great constructive ideas for the startups. I feel that is one of the great benefits of having such an entrepreneurial panel, that not only can they give put the startups through their paces, but also add a bit of value add as well through this, which is great to see. So in terms of the judges, so I'd ask you guys to rate the startups and send them across. In terms of those of you watching, we will put it out to a public vote shortly. So the vote will represent 25% of the votes, and the rest will be made up from the judges' votes, and we will announce a winner in the next 10-15 minutes. Prior to that, we're going to move across just to hear from one of our sponsors and also give you a little bit more information on the Entrepreneurs Collective and what we do here. So do we have Vermeer here? Maybe on mute?
Yes.
Ah, great. Welcome. So over to you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Just a bit about Vermeer Partners, who we are. We're Vermeer Partners are private client investment managers. Unusually in the market, we operate as a partnership, and also we've provided the capital ourselves. At our core is a group of highly experienced investment managers, most of whom have worked together, and we pride ourselves on delivering a bespoke service to our clients based on a professional, trustworthy, innovative and collaborative service. So what do we actually do? We do take a bespoke approach. We acknowledge that each client has its own individual investment needs, and that's why we always tailor our advice to those needs. Like Vermeer paintings, they're all different, so you rarely find two portfolios to be exactly the same. Our philosophy rests on simple principles of accountability and transparency, and one of the key distinctions is that the person that you meet when you come into, when ex-COVID, when you come into Vermeer is the person who actually manages your money. You're not seeing a relationship person, you are seeing the person who actually decides how your money is invested. What can we do for clients? Our core focus is on discretionary fund management. So clients give us the discretion to invest their money within agreed parameters, and we take our time in getting to understand those parameters and the needs of the clients. So we always look at their personal and professional objectives, their risk and investment horizon. And then we manage the investments in accordance with those clients' wishes. We set up Vermeer in 2018 as entrepreneurs ourselves. So that's why we're very happy to sponsor events like this, because we do understand the specific requirements of entrepreneurs and angel investors who on occasions need immediate access to cash to support their enterprises. But we do allow people to access good advice for the long term so that they can invest, and maximizing that in a tax efficient way by using wrappers such as SIPs, ISAs and JISAs. But as I say, my last thing, we're very proud to sponsor events like this.
Yeah, great stuff. And we're delighted to announce you as our new sponsors. Certainly from our perspective, one of the things that we loved about Vermeer is a bit like Entrepreneurs Collective and like our judges and a lot of people on this call. You guys set up your own business just 2 years ago. Not happy to sit in a big corporate, or you wanted to go your own way, and I'm delighted to see what a great success you've made already in the first 2 years, and we're really happy to have you guys on board. So thank you for sharing. Next up, I'd like to introduce you to Ben, who is our community director here at Entrepreneurs Collective. I'm delighted to say that the EC community has grown from strength to strength. It's a little bit scary to think that actually we've only been running a little bit over 12 months, but the team here we're now approaching 8 employees who are all here on hand to try and help your startups to succeed. And there are a number of ways that we try and do this, and Ben is going to tell you a little bit more about this. Ben, are you here to...
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, over to you.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, big thank you to Barbara and Michael Dunstan. Fantastic to have you all with us, and the pictures tonight. That was a super strong selection of our members. So thank you all for your contribution to what was a fantastic evening. A lot of our members here, but I can see a lot of new faces as well. I'll put my details in the chat in just a moment. If you haven't spoken to me before, I'd love to chat with you about how we can start your startup, about getting you on board on an event like tonight. And I have a new pitch to a panel of similar judges. As you can see on screen, there's an awful lot that we do for our founders in terms of benefits, whether it's invitations, not just to monthly events like this one. We run very specific workshops. We've got one coming regarding R&D tax credits. Just had a fantastic one from Ritam for our members who are building their first MVP. The chance to present at nights like this, tech reviews and feedback, access to credits. We've got AWS, Stripe, IBM Cloud, pretty much anything you can think of. And if we don't have it, ask us for it and we'll get it for you. I think this week we somebody asked for HubSpot, so we went out and made that arrangement. And that's now part of what we can offer there. In addition, we've got fantastic exclusive offers from partners like Vermeer, you've just seen there, that we've got, whether you're looking for help with UX UI, whether it's recruitment, whether it's accountancy, whether it's your R&D tax credits, we've got an offer and an introduction to help. Next slide, please. Fantastic, yes, and a new addition to what we can offer at Angel level, we're now working with Bauhurst, where we can provide our members with competitor data, investor database, industry-related reports. We can essentially get really targeted investor information, even from outside of our network, to help you if you're in the middle of a raise. Happy to do a demo with anybody who thinks it might be able to help. But simply put, if we haven't had a chat, I would love to talk to you about what we might be able to do together. I'll put my details in the chat now, and look forward to meeting you.
Yeah, great stuff, Ben. And I think just to say, sort of reiterate again Ben's sentiments. You know, at the bottom line is, I am a founder. Most of the people that are been at the event tonight in one shape or form are all founders of their companies. And it's tough out there, right? So, you know, our ethos and what we try and do at Entrepreneurs Collective is we want to help you in the areas that you are finding tough. You know, for instance, I don't know if Niraj is on the call, but last week someone approached us and said that they, you know, were spending on HubSpot. We went out, we contacted HubSpot, we entered their startup program, and now that member is getting a 90% off their first year of HubSpot. So essentially what we want to do is just to make your life easier. So if there's anything that you're really struggling with at the moment, come speak to one of the team. The more of us that are together and the more that we can do to help each other, the easier it is for us to negotiate great deals for the benefit of the community. And, you know, we've started on the credits and working on helping to grow companies. But now what we're starting to seriously look at is the fundraising side of things. With things such as this Bauhaus tool. And as Ben mentioned, one of the great things that we can do is actually we can look at your competitors in this sector and actually look at some of the tools or some of the investors that are investing in companies similar to you, so that you can target those guys for investment. But great stuff. Thank you, Ben. Now, in terms of the judges, I don't know if you had a chance yet, but if you could send over to me your list of your top 6, that would be great. Let me have a look. Right. Bear with me a second. Okay. Sorry, I'm just collecting in the results. Ben, can you read out some of the questions from the chat while we pull together the final results?
Of course, yeah. Any questions, please, and we'll put the pictures now. Just having a scroll through. I don't think we've got much there, apart from an awful lot of comments saying how fantastic the pictures were this evening, which is great to see. If anyone does have a question, please do put it in the chat, and we'll be happy to ask it on your behalf.
Yeah. So in terms of the judges, Michael Dunstan, you sent through your results yet? Your top 6?
I'm just doing it now.
Perfect.
You should have got mine a few minutes ago, Michael. Have you got it?
No, you sent it to me. You sent it to the wrong Michael Dunstan.
I've also sent it again to the right Michael, and I sent it also to our Entrepreneurs Collective. So 3 of you should have got it.
Okay, perfect.
But I can send it again if you'd like me to.
Yes, that'd be great. Thanks.
Okay. Sent it to Michael Daniel Blakely, which I presume is Michael.
Yeah.
Building the suspense.
Yeah. Okay, we're going through. Okay. So Daniel, do you want to do the public vote now?
Yes, the poll is ongoing right now. I can end it.
Right. Okay, great, guys. Okay. So while we wait for the final results to come through, if we could just move on to the final section, which is the networking section. Daniel, if you could move on to those slides, I'll just chat through what we do in the networking.
Yep.
Okay, great. So in terms of the networking session, this is one of my favorite parts of the night, and certainly we've had some great results out from this. Some founders who have managed to get investment, find co-founders, and even connect with new team members and come up with some great ideas for their startups. Essentially what we do is we'll break everyone who's left into rooms of around about 8 to 12. And you will get 3 minutes each to introduce yourself, talk about your startup, and also to connect with the people around you. We generally recommend that you do 3 things. So one is that you introduce yourself, you offer to give something, and that you also ask for something. So presumably if you are here and you are at a networking event, there is something that you want or are looking for. And this is fine, right? You should be asking for these things, but also we want you to give back, and that's why we say that you should also offer something. Nearly everyone on this call has a skill set or some form of attribute that they can add to the pot. So this is what we do as part of the follow-up. And I see that we are now getting to the results. Great stuff. Okay, so without further ado, if we can just see the results. Right, overall, Daniel, do you have the public results that you can pass to me?
Yes, number one is now, followed by Yolox.
Right. Okay, so in first place, we have New with 37% of the vote and followed by Ulox. Congratulations to you guys. That is the public's vote. So well done. In terms of the overall winners, so we'll see some repetition, but in terms of the first place, overall we have Honestly Good Smoothies, followed by New, and then Lucidity. So Honestly Good Smoothies, are you there?
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Okay, great stuff, and well done, and brilliant presentation.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, guys. So before we head off, I just wanted to say a couple of quick words. Firstly, thank you so much to our judges. As I say, it was by my favorite judging panel to date, particularly because it was jam-packed with entrepreneurs and also value-added comments, which I really loved. In terms of the event, I'm proud to say that once again, and we keep on doing this month after month, this was our biggest event to date. And I think we did have a few technical difficulties where we hit our maximum capacity at the start of the night. So I think we apologies to those guys who couldn't get in earlier on. But very proud to say that once again, this is another record-breaking night for the Entrepreneurs Collective in terms of the numbers growing. In terms